What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Saturday weather update for Saturday, November 2nd, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily weather update for the United States, and I talk about weather happenings around the world, such as extreme weather, which in this year there has been a ton of, especially in the United States, Spain, and many other countries have had to experience significant to extreme flooding that has not really been seen in modern times. So if you're new to my channel, want to stay informed with this and the weather forecast for the United States over the next 7 to 10 days, just hit that subscribe button down below. Give this a thumbs up if you liked the video, hit that notification bell, and share this video with anyone you know. Alrighty, today we will be talking about the flooding in Spain. We're going to take a look at the United States forecast, which does include severe weather in the central regions of the United States, and we're going to be talking about the tropical threat down in the Caribbean that could make its way into the Gulf of Mexico. Starting off with Spain, though, floods, the death toll is now up to 211, and this is expected to continue to rise as 5,000 more soldiers are being deployed, and yes, other parts of Spain are expected to get more rain, so we can only hope that does not cause more flooding. This is one of the worst floods in Spain in modern history. This is just really bad. Taking a look at the satellite picture across the United States, we can see here all is quiet in the east, but we do have a very active pattern that is setting up in the central regions of the United States, and we still do have a system in the Pacific Northwest. Taking a look at that first, you can see here around Portland, Oregon, Seattle, rain and even some showers, more so showers than periods of rain. Mountain snows are still a thing. Winter weather advisories are up there. In Texas, we do see here that there are some showers and thunderstorms in the southern portion of the state near San Antonio and Austin, and even Houston is seeing a few stray showers, but the more concentrated area of heavy rainfall is up around Amarillo, Texas, and into portions of Oklahoma and Wichita, Kansas, and Topeka, Kansas. We're going to be watching this system as it is a boundary which is going to have multiple systems right along it over the next few days. Let's take a look at the national hazards map, and we can see there are flood watches that are up within this, and there are already flash flood warnings and flood warnings in New Mexico, Texas, and portions of Kansas, and this is just really the beginning of this. Later in the day, severe weather will come into play as well. Here's those winter weather advisories up in the Northwest. All is quiet right now. In the east, we do see in the Dakotas, there are dense fog advisories. Visibilities down to near zero in some places are expected. Taking a look at the National Hurricane Center update now, we do see something new on the map. Take a look at this. Subtropical storm Patty has now developed, and it's down to 982 millibars, 65-mile-per-hour winds. It is moving southeast at 13 miles per hour. It is expected to eventually weaken down to just a subtropical depression over the next few days, and you do see we do now have a code red in the Caribbean, which is at 80% over the next 7 days, and when we go to the day 2 time frame, take a look at this. It is 60% now on day 2, so we could be dealing with a tropical depression there, maybe as early as Monday or Tuesday of next week. Let's take a look at the latest satellite picture. See this area of convection, unorganized convection in the southern Caribbean? That is the area that we are going to have to keep our eyes on, and that is eventually going to make its way more to the north and could form into an area of low pressure when things get more favorable for development. North of Puerto Rico, you do see a spin here. The Hurricane Center does have a 10% chance of development on that. Some modeling had been trying to develop that. Don't think it's really going to become a thing, and when we take a look at the next 7 days for that, it's still just a 10% chance. Now let's take a look at the modeling for our area that we're most concerned about, and you can see here, as early as Sunday night going into Monday, potentially a tropical depression, and definitely by midday on Monday, the GFS says this will be a tropical depression, maybe pushing near tropical storm. And the big thing that I have to continue to remind you of, take a look at this. This area of high pressure, which is going to keep things in the eastern United States rather dry, aside from Florida, maybe a few showers there, Georgia as well. This high is going to be a blocking feature, and it's going to prevent this system from going out to sea in the Atlantic. Instead, this system is going to move back north and northwest. It is going to go over Cuba, could potentially be a strong tropical storm or a weak Category 1 hurricane at that point. Then it is going to find itself in the Gulf of Mexico. Where it goes in the Gulf of Mexico, whether it goes near Florida or it goes more to the west, remains to be seen. The track it takes will be pretty significant, because if it takes the correct track, it could go over warmer waters, more favorable environment, and become a stronger system. But there's also potential that this system moves relatively slow in the Gulf. You can see now, we're up to 12Z Saturday, and it still hasn't made landfall. Next Sunday, finally, GFS shows maybe near New Orleans, but hey, this is just one run of one model. Now let's take a look at what the Canadian model did from last night, and you will see something slightly different on the Canadian. You can see it does develop maybe a tropical depression by midday Monday, but as you can see here, it's a little bit slower with developing the system. It starts off really a real broad area of low pressure. Then it becomes a little compact as we come into middle of the week, and it gets closer to portions of Cuba. But you can see here a much weaker storm system on the Canadian, and you can see it also takes a more easterly path. Let's also take a look at the European, just to give you the European perspective. And you can see here, the European, as I advance this, does develop kind of similar to the Canadian. It stays a little bit more to the east in the beginning, but then it does get a little bit stronger than the Canadian. And watch what happens. It does something completely different. It then takes a hard turn to the left, and then goes down towards Mexico, and then really slows down and just gets stuck down there. At that point, we're at the end of the European run. So you're seeing here, GFS, Canadian, European, three different solutions. It starts off on the European, close to the Canadian, and we'll say GFS as well, but then it goes off and does its own thing. Now let's quickly take a look at the ensemble of the GFS, and I'll show you what the various different members do. And we want to switch this back to the 6Z run, because the 12Z run's not really in yet, but you can see here, take a look. Here it is. There is an agreement that the storm system does develop, and watch what happens. It goes over Cuba, but then you can see there's wide disagreement. Some members go closer to Florida, a couple members down near the Yucatan Peninsula, and really they go all over the place in the Gulf of Mexico. But the one thing you will notice, a lot of the members do weaken the system. So that's something we'll have to watch as well. The strength of the system is really something we're not going to figure out probably until we get this to become a named system. And remember, there have been a lot of systems earlier this season that have ended up being stronger than what the models show. Alright, taking a look now at the Weather Prediction Center for the next 1 through 7 days across the United States. Really dry in the east with exceptions to the southeast. There will be some precipitation in Florida, and a lot of this will depend on what happens with our potential tropical system that develops. Then you see in the central regions of the United States that heavy rainfall. We were talking about it. It's going to last several days. There's going to be multiple waves along this boundary. After each wave, the boundary will end up a little bit further to the east, but the moisture from it will, for the most part, dry up by the time it gets to the northeast, maybe western New York, northern Vermont, northwest Maine. Maybe you'll see some precipitation. Nothing major, but it's this flooding in between in the plains where we'll see anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain, locally 5 to 7 inches of rain now being expected, and this does continue right up into the Midwest. Areas that need rain, but this is a lot of rain for a short period of time. Four Corners region, some wet weather for you as well, and up in the Pacific Northwest. Now let's take a look at what the excessive rainfall forecast is. Slight risk today for portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and a moderate risk tomorrow near Oklahoma City for excessive rainfall. So they're really expecting that there could be some significant flash flooding potential for tomorrow, and a big slight risk surrounding that area. And day 3, a slight risk from Chicago back on down through portions of Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, even southeast Kansas, and into Texas. So it really is going to be an active period for that, but then there's more. Take a look at this. It's the slight risk of severe weather, which, quite frankly, I'm almost a little surprised this was not upgraded to enhanced. Some modeling guidance is rather impressive for this, but right now they're going with a 5% tornado risk area across western portions of Texas and southeast New Mexico, 2% surrounding that, 15% chance today for wind, and a hail threat is hatched in the same area as the tornado, where there could be some large hail. Hatched 15% area. Take a look now at the latest 12Z HER run. We're using the 12Z run because it goes out further, and I really want you to see this. You can see the current heavy rainfall will continue, but look this afternoon. Discrete supercells, yes, do fire up in portions of Texas and portions of New Mexico, and that is why I'm surprised that they did not upgrade to an enhanced risk, because the wind shear is rather impressive. And remember yesterday I showed you the NATOcast model, which showed 10%. It actually shows a little 15% area. That may be overdone, but you can see here, this threat will continue this evening and into tonight, so we'll have to really watch how this evolves. They still could upgrade this to an enhanced risk day. And look at something else you see here. Very heavy rainfall. Tomorrow, you can see that pushes to the east, and watch what happens. A whole other area sets up, but a little bit further to the east this time. So if you're around Oklahoma City, maybe you're in northwest Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, pay attention. This does bear watching for you. And as we head into late tomorrow night, into Monday morning, yes, another round of showers and thunderstorm does get going. And take a look at this. Total precipitation just for 48 hours from the HER model. Portions of Oklahoma, yes, that is 7, 8, maybe even localized 9 inches of rainfall from this model. Could it happen? It's possible. This is convective in nature. The rainfall rates will be unusually high for this time of year, so we really need to keep an eye on this, and should that happen, there could be a few flash flood emergencies that go into effect. Alright, taking a look at the rest of the country, and we'll take a look here. We'll use the 12Z run for this, because we're only going to go out for about the next 7 days, and we can see here, here's that storm threat that continues right on into Monday night and even Tuesday. It will eventually make its way to the east, but watch what happens. It loses its moisture as it comes to the east. After that, yes, once again, things get pushed back to the northwest again. Look at this. Another round of moisture sets up later in the week in the plains, and we'll have to keep an eye on that, because it could be more severe weather, and this could be a rather strong system, and it could have cold weather behind it. Cold enough that there could be snow across portions of western Nebraska and portions of western Kansas. It's something we'll have to watch for the second part of the week. Again, not a lot of moisture in the east yet, but look what happens as we head towards next weekend. Yes, depending where this tropical system tracks, you're seeing us correctly. There could now be the potential for some precipitation in the east. Is it going to end the drought? No, but it will at least provide some relief. And take a look at the west coast. We can see out on the west coast, relatively quiet from California on southward, Pacific Northwest. Taking a look at Oregon and Washington, more rain and snow shower threats are going to continue, but it's not going to be as significant. At least not at this time, but we'll have to keep our eyes on this, because sometimes in the Pacific, data is sparse and systems do trend stronger as we get closer in time. Alrighty, let's just go over the latest 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This was put out yesterday, but you can see here still slightly above average in the east. That will continue slightly below average in the Four Corners region, and that may extend its way. Now, that may actually expand to the east a little bit, to portions of Kansas and portions of Nebraska, where you just saw the new GFS run just in is showing a potential for a little bit of snow there late in the week. Could that happen? Stay tuned. We'll be watching it on future videos. We'll also be watching this 6 to 10 day precipitation. This will happen if there's another system there. There will be above average precipitation, and still will be a below average in the north. But as we head towards the 8 to 14 day period for that, could actually get a little wetter, all depending what this tropical system will do. If it sneaks its way up the Appalachia Mountains, well, then we could be talking about some precipitation up north because it would link up with that other system, which would be well-needed rainfall for portions of the Northeast. And let's also take a look at 8 to 14-day temperatures. Regardless of what happens, the East is staying above average temperatures with just a few cool downs mixed in between. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Saturday weather update. We'll probably have another update again tomorrow on what will be a future tropical depression down in the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean, and of course the severe weather that unfolds. We'll have storm reports, totals for portions of Texas, Oklahoma from today. I expect there's going to be quite a few of them. Could be a day where the Storm Prediction Center gets to near 100 storm reports later in the day, though not in a densely populated area of Texas. There's enough population there. This could cause some havoc. Alrighty, folks, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, and share this video with anyone you know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all again next time.